From Kings Canyon, we drive just under 7 miles through Carson City to the Stewart Indian School Cultural Center and Museum, where Stacy Montooth, the Executive Director of the Nevada Indian Commission, greets us.
Hey, Stacy.
Dave, Chris, it's so good to see you. Welcome to the historic and beautiful Stewart Indian School campus.
Thank you. It's our first time. I've never been. I've heard of it so many times, and I'm excited that we're finally here.
You are at a campus that was created in 1890 and was open for 90 years. Dave, there isn't a Paiute, Shoshone, or Washoe Indian in the Great Basin who doesn't have a tie to this campus. It's important that the public get to visit our cultural center and learn that the impact of the federal government's policy for boarding schools for Indian people, it still impacts our communities today. It really, really is going to be an amazing platform for people to learn the authentic stories, the firsthand accounts of our ancestors, our relatives, the alumni and their families of what Stewart was and what it became. If you don't know the history of boarding schools, you don't have a complete history of Nevada, and coincidentally, it's just right down the street from our state capitol. The state of Nevada utilizes several of the rock buildings for current services. So here on campus, there are several administrative offices for the Department of Corrections, the Fire Marshal has an office, Capitol Police, as well as just right back here behind us. These are the dormitories that my 94-year-old grandmother slept in and used as a student here at the Stewart Indian School in the 40s. Those same dormitories are used in 2020 for cadets.
One building in particular is our focus today, the brand new Cultural Center and Museum.
Our guide is Linda Even-Jones, an alumnus of the school. Who better to show us around?
Welcome to the Stewart Indian Museum and Cultural Center, and we're just glad to show you through our beautiful new building.
It's a gorgeous building. Do you have history with the school?
Yes, I went to school here in 1963 to 1966. I'll show you some of the graduating pictures of the alumni that went to school here. And by the way, This is the class of 1966. And there I am right there.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Oh.
We still gather for reunions throughout Nevada and Arizona. And this is keeping our history alive in Nevada. This is the first part of our exhibit, and this is what we call our timeline. And what it is the very beginning history of the opening of the school in 1890 and all the way to 1980 when it closed. But it also talks about how Indian children were mandated by Congress. They had to go to boarding schools to be educated in a white man's world. A lot of Indian children were kidnapped and brought here, some voluntarily, but my father was put on a train and he was brought here to Stewart in about 1934, 35. I just wanted to highlight a comment that's made right here. When the kids were brought here, we were given a number. Like he says here, we'll get in line and they'd give us a number. All students had a number assigned to them, and you had to continuously use that. And I like to give the analogy, just like when the Jews were in Auschwitz, they got numbers put on them.
Right.
We were branded with numbers. Your identity was lost, and you were just a number.
So as you look at some of the exhibits, it looks like stuff you would just expect to see at any high school, but that really wasn't the kind of thing that you guys were used to experiencing, was it?
Well, you have to remember that the boarding schools were to colonize and make the Indians absorb and take on the white culture. So everything we did in the school was more of the white society of how a school should run. So it wasn't something that we had initially, and everything was brought in. We were forced to do things that we didn't really want to do. But the students gravitated and became sports powerhouses in a sense, because a lot of our athletes in the 70s and 80s even participated in some of the Olympics. From boxing titles to basketball, our class of '66 wins the state championship.
It's a really interesting quote, you know, and Stewart was my home, because even though maybe wasn't a chosen home, in a lot of ways you guys really had to make it your homes.
That quote is from one of my roommates. And gee, we never talked about the loneliness that we experienced or the sad times. You know, we're very proud that the state of Nevada supported this project. And I think it's a historical stepping stone for other Native American issues in the state of Nevada.
Hopefully having a museum like this, which is beautiful and so well designed, will act as a draw and bring more people and thereby create that education that you're talking about.
Right.
There's much more here than we have time to show, like the Stewart Indian School Trail, a cell phone guided walking tour that tells you the stories of the school through recordings of alumni who lived here. This, along with the museum, ensures that a visit to Stewart Indian School will be a meaningful experience for all.